Oh, I crack myself up. How do I do this? How do I do this? It is a thing. It is the thing I do. I'm doing that thing I do, which is looking at my hair in the camera. You would do it too. I bet you would. Seriously. Because I don't. It might be obvious to you, but I do not look in the mirror a wicked lot. Um, because you know why? Whatever. I'm gonna be what do you call it? Sleeping on it soon. So hey, good evening, people. Wednesday, May 14th, 8 p.m. No, 8 a.m. TikTok lives. Good evening, Judy, and good evening, McDugs. If you guys could do me a solid, as they like to say, let me know if you can see and hear me. That would be awesome. Just put something in the comments, a little, thumbs up or something. That'd be great. 8 a.m. was the TikTok live. 8 p.m. is the YouTube live. Thank you, Judy Dukes. Rock on. Thank you, Christine. Yep, and yes, and yes, and yes. I love all those positive words. Thank you. Sometimes YouTube gets a little wonky, and I'm like literally and metaphorically kind of talking into the void. So good. Nice to see you, Judy Dukes. I hope you got the link I sent you about not being so afraid of going flying. And I just want to say too, if you're really freaked out about it, don't be like, Beth told me, so I have to do it. But learning to calm down your nervous system. I would like to think everything's going to be okay. All right. Okay. Good. I'm glad you got it. Thank you. Cheryl Siegel, Cheryl with an S. Nice to see you. And an alliterative name, an S and an S. Love it. Like surface stored sentimental, like head, heart, hand, like stuff like that there. So good evening. I hope you had a good day. I had a good day. It started out a little bit wonky. Um, got a headache. You may have seen that if you were on the YouTubes, the TikToks rather. Hey, that's awesome. MC has brought us onto the New York City subway. I love it. I'm on the subway, but when I got the YouTube notice, I clicked. Hi, everybody. Hi. Hey, Lady Bandit. Hope your husband's doing okay. I hope he is. Therapy Gal Sue, it's been a while. Have you on TV while I'm filing away the coming piles of papers? Okay. I helped a client today with paperwork, and this was so much fun. I have to share this idea with you guys. Okay. Cheryl, nice to see you. Let me share this with you hot off the presses. Hot off the presses, which is, oh, good. I'm glad you're doing much better. Yeah. Things can throw you for a loop. So here's something that had I love coaching because as I coach and I say the same things, which I love repeating because they are so valid and worthy, other things pop up too. And I want to share this with this idea with you. Okay. So I had a client, and this was really interesting because she had like a bookcase full of a collection of a certain type. So she was looking at this bookcase, and it was of the collection. So it was as if the bookcase was all one unit, and she was becoming overwhelmed by it. And the real cool thing, I want you to think of this, okay? Think of this phrase. I want you to break the spell. I want you to break the spell of something that is overwhelming you by doing what we always do, which is chunking it down. And literally, you can break the spell sometime simply by putting your hand on the item. And it reminds you that that one item is actually just a whole bunch of smaller items. Like, so for example, she was kind of overwhelmed by her collection of, as if it was just one item, but her collection was a bunch of items that created that then she called a collection. As soon as she started putting her hands on the books and on the figurines and stuff like that, she told me she was literally able to donate about 75% of those things. So I hot off the presses, I'm going to write it down for tomorrow too, but I want you guys to be the ones first thing, which is break the spell. And how you break the spell is you just put your hand on the item. We practiced with this on our coaching call. Hand on item. Got to write it down. because I said, "Okay, so that's great. So you took the thing that we had one name and we chunked it down into remembered it was all made. It's like a skeleton is really just a bunch of bones put together." Um, so we tried it with a folder of paperwork she had. Now, Therapy Gal Sue, you made me think about this. And because you're saying the coming pile of papers. So she had, I said, well, what's your roadblock today? Like what's a roadblock you're stuck with that we can walk through? Like and we can together kind of literally dismantle it. Because even a roadblock, if you get close to it, it's made up of a bunch of little blocks. So it was so great. She took the folder. I said, go get the folder, bring it back. Let's see what's in it and start to chunk it down. Now, this was kind of a neat thing because she found a bunch of papers and I said, "Come up with your own categories. I'll be here on mute. And when you start to feel overwhelmed, just say, "Hey, let me do this." We kind of did like our own mini decluttering party. And not only was she able to find some things that she was stuck. She's this one folder of kind of, and this was it. It was the folder of important papers. Like it just had one name. And I said, well, let's chunk it down into categories. And the neat thing was, is she put her hand on it, she opened up the folder, and she just started seeing what she had and putting things in categories. And sometimes putting your hand on the item, or not even the item, but the area where the items are, you know? Um, Regina, I'm on tonight, and don't worry, I was not spell checking you. So that was nice of you to do that. But think of that. Is there something that you've given one name that is really a collection of a bunch of different things? That's one way you can chunk things down. Important papers. Okay, let's get specific. And this was tax paperwork. This was her if I die, here's my folder paperwork. So chunking it down, break the spell, chunk it down. And you can often break the spell by just putting your hand on the stuff and realize, oh, you know what? It's really just a bunch of papers, opening up the folder. So opening up the envelopes of your mail. So I just thought I would share that with you because that was really fun to find another way to describe what we can do to, once again, it's always going to come back to calming down and chunking down, and ideally writing down. Yes. Yes, the spell is broken. You can do magic. You have to believe this is magic. Didn't Olivia Newton-John say that? Onge, as somebody once called her. I think it was a friend of my sister's. Yeah. Chunking it down and sorting by categories, categorize, sorting things into piles, breaking apart the big pile into little piles, and not just random little piles, but things that have something in common. It really is how to create order out of chaos. And I don't know about you, but the feeling of chaos and the feeling of order, I'll have the feeling of order, please. The feeling of knowing what things are and where they belong, and if I even need to keep them. So be a spell breaker. Don't be caught under the spell of, no, you can't touch this. This is all one collection. Because those collectors and even collectors know, when people are at Brimfield this week, all right? Collectors know there's quality and there's quantity. And there are parts of your collection, if you're a collector of anything. Actually, even if you're not a collector of anything, you are a collector of something. You have a collection of clothes, you have a collection of underpants, you have a collection of spoons, and you have your favorites. You have some that you like better than others. Those are the quality items. The quality items. So just notice what your favorites are. Keep them. I tried on a pair of underpants this weekend and I was like, oh my God, these are the ones that I bought that were like the wrong cut. Now I get the ones that are a little bit higher waisted because my waist is higher. The ones I put on were like these more bikini types that I used to wear when my pants were bikini. You know what I mean? A little bit lower. But I was like, oh, I don't even like these. What did I do? Poop, into the trash because they were uncomfortable. Um, Here's a funny thing too. I want to just share this with you because I'm going to write this down for tomorrow too, which is we did shots this morning. So I'm going to write down 2 shots because we have fun. and we get it done. But here's why we did. I don't know if any of you were on the TikTok, but or yeah, the TikTok this morning. And we were talking about one of the good things you can do to calm down and slow down is to drink down some water. Water is the best thing for you. I have a glass of it right here. And I decided we were going to play like we were going to do shots as if we were in Pee Wee's Playhouse. Okay. And we're going to do it tomorrow too. I was going to suggest it for tonight. However, I know myself that I really don't care to get up in the middle of the night to go pee. So I'm going to be nice to you and I'm not about to fill your bladder um so then you're up in the middle of the night and you can't get back to sleep. No. But in the morning, what I want to suggest is when I do the TikTok lives and the YouTube lives, I know I use the same words over and over again. It's intentional, it's accidental, it's habitual, it's muppetational. And so what I suggested, so I think of this too. Think of a word that I tend to use often. And when I said notice, that reminded me, you know? Um, and uh I love it. Okay, Leslie says I was on this morning. That game worked. I chose to chunk and got plenty hydrated. Yeah, if you used down, you probably might have had to run out of the house. I mean, run out of the room and go to the bathroom, right? Um, you said, did you make that laugh that you do perfect? Oh, I have no I just laugh. Um, so anytime, so everybody picked their own word. You didn't even have to pick the same word like Pee Wee's Playhouse. And every time I said a word that you picked, kind of like your intention when you're in yoga, you picked your word, whether it was notice or chunk or down or love or fear. Oh yeah. Oh, my laugh. Oh, the Pee Wee's Playhouse. Yeah. You mean this guy right here? This guy right here? We're gonna scream real loud. Look, he's hanging out on my glasses. Here. Maybe he can hang out with us here. I should get see if people can sit up on something. Here we go. So anyhow, come on, PW. Da, 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 da. Da, 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 da. Where was I? Oh, we were doing shots. There we go. All right, I got a special guest. We were doing shots. So it's one fun way to keep you hydrated. Also, notice a shot is a unit of measure. It is a small chunk of an ounce is a cup, is a pint, is a quart, is a gallon, is a liter, whatever. Chunking things down makes it easier to do. I hit my water goal today because I chunked it down and reminded myself, and I started early. Now, it doesn't do me a lot of good, and it may make you feel like crap, which is not my intention. If I suggest starting early on something and it's 8 o'clock at night, okay? But what I want you to think of is not in a mean way, but in a curious way. Curious would probably be a good word that you might pick and then take a sip, a pick and a sip, which would be reflecting back on the day today. Right, PW? There we go. Reflecting back on the day and saying, what did I get done today? And write down the good stuff you got done in your book. Remember the good stuff. Again, today on one of my coaching calls, we were talking about paper as proof. Paper as proof. When you write something down, it becomes more real. Can you imagine if the Declaration of Independence was never written down? We would not have proof that that's what they meant. Oh no, they meant something else. I write down stuff so I remember it. I suggest you do that too, because the human brain is not as memory forward as it maybe used to be when there was less to remember. But writing stuff down, calming down, remembering the good stuff, but also the stuff you didn't get done today, write it on your list for tomorrow. And think about why, again, with curiosity, not judgment. Ask yourself why you didn't get it done today and see what comes up. I'll do it myself. I haven't. This is totally unplanned. Excuse me, PW. Here, I'm going to see you guys later. Bye. 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 There you go. Bye. Okay. So what did I get done today? I wrote it down. I took a shower. Yep. I did some laundry. I can hear the dryer from here. I took my vitamins. I hadn't been doing that. I took walk number 1. I vacuumed my room. I had some more protein. I went to Trader Joe's to pick up a salad with chicken and had it for dinner. I texted my oh, I didn't text my mother. That's okay. I texted her yesterday, and all I was going to say to her was, I hope you have a nice dinner tonight because she was going out with some people. So, you know what I'm going to do? This is what I'm going to do. I'm going to turn on to tomorrow's page and I'm going to text my mother to say, hey, I hope you had a nice dinner. Text mom about dinner. I walked number 2. I did Pilates. I'm doing a YouTube live. I did some coaching. I'm feeling good about what I did. I hope you are feeling good about what you did today, regardless of the quantity of things you got done. Could I have technically fit more into my day? Yeah, but I feel good about the quantity of things that I did, the pace that I was going through. Also, I took a migraine pill because I had a headache today. And you know what that to me meant? That meant me not being so stubborn and I want to say taking help, getting help, using the resources available to me to feel better. So I did it. Sometimes I'm resistant. Oh, I don't want to take it. I want to tough it through. I shouldn't have to take it. Why am I saving it? If I need more headache medicine, I can call the doctor and they will fill in a prescription. I don't take it, I don't abuse it, but man, does it make a difference. So I offer this to you as an encouragement too. Are you trying to tough out something by yourself and not take help that is readily available to you and designed for that purpose? You know, just think about that. Where have you thought that it's not cool to ask for help? I know I've done it. I got this myself. I can do it. You might be able to, but sometimes you can't, and it's okay to ask for help. It's okay to say, this is hard for me. Can you help me with this? And asking for help means that you get to your result, you get to the destination sooner. Did I ask for help today? I probably asked my husband for help because I do all the time because he's very helpful. Um, we didn't have to fold a fitted sheet because we did not do sheets today. Um, I asked him to put away his laundry a number of times, and he did, so that was good. But don't be afraid to ask for help. What's the fear? Notice I said, don't be afraid. So, are you feeling good today? Are you feeling 7 up? Are you in your comfy clothes yet? I got into my comfy clothes. I specifically got into my comfy clothes before today's YouTube live because I knew when I was feeling better, I'd be more comfortable. I wouldn't be all like, "Oh, it's all tight. I've been wearing these yoga pants all day, and it was kind of chilly out, so I put on a undershirt, and it's kind of tight. And I went to Pilates, so I might have sweat under my tight clothes, and you know, no, I put on my comfy clothes. I have already done some of the stuff that's on my habit tracker. I look forward to. There we go. Kara says, I'm in bed doing my PT exercise, very tired. Yay for being in bed and good on you. Good on you for doing your PT exercises. I will share with you, you guys. I can't remember who it was on one of these calls, but I augmented my habit tracker to add flossing my teeth. Now, I don't expect to do it every day. But man, since I have put it on here, I have flossed more than I usually do. So there is a power in writing it down. There is power in reading it. And I will say this right now. What color is it? Brushing and flossing the teeth. You betcha. I did it. I'm filling it in, people. Oh, that's the other thing I have to do. But I look forward to filling in these things. Ooh, there we go. Therapy gal Sue, that sounds nice. Comfy clothes and pork roast in the oven for a yummy dinner after our meetup tonight. Num num. Very cool. Now, here's a funny thing I will share with you, just a story of dinner. My husband and I have been trying to eat healthy, and we were on vacation, and we haven't had like a substantial amount of vegetables in a while. So I said, you know what? You know what? I bet we could both benefit from, which would be to have some vegetables. So I went over to Trader Joe's, and there was a specific like salad kit that I wanted, and they didn't have it, unfortunately. I think it was like dill or pickle or whatever. And I thought, well, how about this? And I said, oh, I'm going to be good. I'm going to buy two, one for tonight, one for tomorrow, because then Friday we go on 'em for dinner. Saturday we've got a thing. Sunday, etc. I totally forgot buying these salads that we have a carnival. They call it a fair here. We would have called it a carnival set up literally 2 blocks from our house today. And I say this because there are food trucks all over the place. Cotton candy, funnel cake, soft serve ice cream, donuts, what else? Dumplings, tacos, cheesesteak, egg rolls. And so it's so funny because we usually go down there once, like, and we'll have like dinner there. And so it cracked me up, and I said, I totally forgot that this was the week of indulgent fair food, and I'm here buying bags of salad. So just something funny to share. Okay. Um, okay. So Melody Stamps is saying, even when I'm doing a hard task that I usually procrastinate on, I still don't ask for help. Okay. I don't like when people try to do things in my space. Interesting. Interesting. Now, sometimes I will be honest with you. I like to be left alone to do things. But I say this, inviting people into your space is different than them invading your space. So notice the subtle difference. This is why we have doors. This is why we have doors with doorknobs that click and lock. You open the door and you invite people in, or you say, no, thank you. Boundaries. Um, Some of us want to try to figure it out ourselves. And up to a certain point, I do that. And other times, instead of when I get to that sense of frustration, instead of getting frustrated and throwing it across the room, whatever it happens to be, I try to calm down. And I realize the best thing for me to do is to calm down and then ask for help. But notice the difference between people invading your space and doing things or trying to help you before you're ready, asking for it versus somebody doing it offered. Now, Heather is saying sometimes when I have a big breakthrough and accomplish a big declutter task, I then take a big chunk of time off. Awesome. Maybe even 2 weeks. I'd like to find a way to reset and start up again sooner. Okay. So that's interesting. What I would and interesting, if that was my word for the night, I'd be taking 2 sips of water. Hey, Penny Myers, I'm glad you're in bed. Yay. 1, interesting. 2, interesting. What? I feel like the count. 3, or the 1, a 2, a 3. The 3. How many licks does it take to get to the Tootsie Pop? Anybody? Um, all right. So I will offer sometimes when I do a big lot of stuff, then I allow myself to just fart around. What I would get curious about, Heather MC. Um, oh yeah, that one persona is saying like the live. So if you want to put the thumbs up on it, that'd be great. Heather MC, yo, what I would get curious about is the point where you realize that you're like, okay, I feel like I should be doing something else. I'd restart and side up again sooner. So, what's the thought that is the counter thought to your, hey, I should get up and do something? What's the counter thought? What's the opposite? What's like, nah, stay here on the couch? Get curious about what your backseat driver says that convinces you not to start earlier. You did earn a break. I'm all about earning a break. I'm also all about if you're tired, getting rest. I literally came back from vacation. Isn't it crazy? You go on vacation, you go traveling. I always come back more tired. I don't know, maybe my life is so relaxo anyway, like I get more restorative. My the routine of life is more restorative. But I would get really curious. I would eavesdrop on my inner voices. What's going on in the car? I'm the driver, but I'm listening to what's going on between the co-pilot and the backseat driver. Because co-pilot's like, hey, we should get up and do that thing. Nah. Backseat driver, nah. Nope. Oh, okay, then I won't get up. Maybe you don't have something else planned. Maybe you're afraid, and I'm just riffing here. Maybe I'm amazed at the way you love me all the time. Maybe you're thinking it's going to be another big thing. How about a bunch of little things? But I would seriously get curious, you know? Now, this is interesting too. Again, interesting would be my word. So here, I'm going to probably have to get up and pee tonight, but you know what? Could be worse. That one persona is saying, um, yeah, I made a rule no excursions the day before I heading back. Yeah, that's a good idea, Mary Coker. Um, yeah, I was ready to go back. But that one persona, anxiety about life situations, unrelated to clutter, anxiety about life makes me hesitant to start tidying or decluttering. Like my mind is too preoccupied to do anything but worry. Okay, here's what I do. This may be the opposite is moving your body and distracting yourself from the worry can really help. So, what I would offer in that situation, that one persona, you may not be in the position, if we talk about surface clutter, stored clutter, sentimental clutter, you may not be in the right mind space to be going through the family heirlooms and going through your archives of stuff. That's okay. What might help you, though, is to do some high level, and I mean like very shallow end of the pool kind of decluttering, because that can help get you set up for when your brain is better. What do I mean by that? I mean kind of, as I like to say, puttering and decluttering. I like items together, organizing into, like items. That might give your worrying brain a rest. When if you can focus on something. Now the decision making you may not be in the right place to put decision making, but you can stage some things. You can do things like maybe laundry and stuff, or very, like opening up, you know, maybe just even opening up the mail and recycling the envelopes and all the things and then making a stack. Worry tends to be, in my mind, your brain thinks it's doing something good. It's trying to solve the problems, but it's different. It's like, and notice my hands are going like this. Worry to me is you're going over the same thing over and over and over and over. I feel like a peewee. And it keeps spinning and spinning and spinning, right? And it's like spinning your wheels. It's like revving your engine, but you're not in gear. Worry is basically, I read this saying once, which is kind of interesting. Worry is like praying for something you don't want to happen. Prayer is, please this, please, oh, over and over again, the repetition of certain things. It doesn't feel good. So disrupt the worry, distract yourself from the worrying, and try to do some puttering and decluttering, some staging of things. You may be able to turn down the volume on it enough that maybe you could get in the zone of decluttering, which gives your worrying brain a rest. Does that help? I hope it does. Now, this is really cool because um, Heather MC is, yes, I don't think I have a follow up planned. Might be good to map out some projects so I know where I'm going next. I love that because that's what I was going to say is if you have kind of a master list of stuff that needs to get done, sometimes you say, I don't know what to do. Then you can just check your list. Oh, Here's all sorts of things I could do. Let me pick out some easy ones to get started. Yeah. So I love that. So writing down some little baby steps. Like notice this many of the things that I did today were pretty baby stepsy. But I wrote them down to help me have something to get started so I didn't spend another 2 hours laying in bed scrolling on TikTok like I did when I was sick. All these little things have made our house easier to live in, making it easier for me to get dressed because I have clean clothes. That type of thing. Now, I love it. Judy and that one persona. I love it. I think I've learned to get moving when the big sads hit, still working through dealing with anxieties. I would be curious, and I know everybody's got their own definition. I would get curious, and this is something I honestly would write down. I would sit and ask myself and listen for the answer. And I would, again, I'm all about folding the piece of paper in half because why not? Two columns. Big sads feel like this, anxiety feels like this. What's the difference between in the anxiety? How do you know the difference between when you're feeling big sad and you're feeling anxious? What are the hallmarks? What are the sirens? What are the signals that say, "Oh, this is anxiety. This is how this is what feeling anxious feels like in my body." And how does that show up in your body? Does it show up like where my hand is? Does it show up at the tip of your nose? Does it show up in your head? Does it show up in your brain? Does it show up in your shoulders? So I would get curious because if the getting moving works for the big sads, it may help with the anxieties too. And the other thing with the anxiety, to me anyway, my anxiety is usually kind of word driven that causes the feelings. So I might write down those words to get them out of me so they don't keep on spinning and spinning and spinning in my head. Oh, okay. Yeah. Going through fertility treatments aren't for the weak. Oh, hun. It's all rolled up into a feeling burrito with a little bit of everything. Oh, but you know what? Burritos are pretty tasty. They are, and you're doing good stuff. If destination kiddos is where you want to head, you're on the right track. And I mean, if you're going through fertility treatments, hello, hormones. I mean, you are feeling things that as sometimes when my clients, we say, maybe I just need a nap and a snack, you know? So have grace with yourself. Understand that it just may be part of the process. Aw, but yeah, give yourself a hug. Wrap yourself in one of those burrito printed, blankets. All right, here, pretend this is a burrito, right? Go like this. Hey, look at me. I'm a burrito, you know? Hug yourself. Breathe. You know, you got this. You got this, hon. And you know what? This is so neat because that one persona, when you have the kiddos, what you're learning now in how to calm down your anxiety. I mean, think about it. Literally, the metaphor I use is a scared little kid in the back seat and making sure you feel okay physically and mentally. And so then you have the patience and the love in your heart to calm down a little kid that doesn't know what they're doing. And if the little kid is screaming and you're losing it, being okay with asking for help. What you're learning now to take care of yourself will help you when you have the little squealing little kiddo with you. So you're doing good stuff. Okay. And people are sending you hugs right now. Yeah. Manipulating your body. Yeah. So I hope you can do that. Now, Leslie's offering to Heather MC and to people. I keep a list of 15-minute projects, mail sorting, cleaning bathroom, toilet, and sink, etc. Then if I find time, I know what to do, right? You know what to do. Yeah, I putter and declutter. I'll be wiping down the sink, and I was doing my flossing, and the stuff got um, on the mirror, and so I wiped down the mirror. And then I realized that the stuff that I sprayed got on the sink, so I wiped down the sink and I tidied that up a little bit. There we go. Melody. Melody's doing something, packing the stuff in the top of my bedroom closet right now. I love it. Good. Good stuff, people. Yeah, a 15-minute project list. And I would even say this to me, I'll share with you. 15 minutes is a wicked long time. Like literally. I'm looking at the clock right now. I should put it right up here. Yeah, 15 minutes is a wicked long time. This is what I would do. I would make an extra long list of 5-minute projects, of 2-minute projects. And then I could pick and choose as many as I wanted. So I offer to you, what are some little piddly things you could do that just gets you up and moving? And again, I think of the mundane things. I could take the laundry, I could put it away. I could take whatever. How about this? I could take whatever the thing is in my house and do the next step. I don't have to do the entire process, but I could do the next logical step for a process. Now, that may sound too abstract, but this is what my pattern matching brain is thinking. I'm thinking of mail, I'm thinking of dishes, I'm thinking of laundry, and I'm thinking that each one of those things has a certain order you go in. So, for example, if the mail is in the mailbox, I can bring the mail in. That's the next step. When I bring the mail in, I can open up the envelopes. That's a next step. When I've opened up the envelopes, I can shred, not shred, what's it? Recycle the envelopes and keep the good stuff. With the dishes, if they're in on the counter, I could put them in the sink. If they're in the sink, I could put some in the dishwasher, some, not all. If there are clean ones in the washing dishwasher, which there are right now, I could put some of them away. I could chunk it down. I could do just the top shelf of the dishwasher. I could do just the silverware. Laundry has a certain order of operations. So, what is the next step in any of these projects? And a step, I was thinking about it today on my walk. A step is a human unit of measure. You step with your foot. You step with your foot. It is, you walk at a pace that is right for you based on how tall you are and how long your legs are. And it's a certain way of going through the world, finding a pace that works for you and a step that feels okay for you to step. If you overextend, it's going to feel weird. And if it's too little, you may feel like you're shuffling around. So think about, and again, that's all chunking it down. I always try to bring it back because I was thinking about it today and Heather MC has written books and I have written books. And the neat thing is about, yeah, one step forward on any task. Yeah, one step. What's the and in the biz, in the life coaching biz, oftentimes people will say, "Well, what's the next right step?" And I say the right step is the next step that gets you moving ahead and just making sure that wherever you're pointing your next steps are all based on your destination, that it's not a step away or a step back. And sometimes you do need to temporarily step back in order to change direction and then move forward. It's kind of like backing your car out of the driveway temporarily and for a short bit so you can then move forward. But finding out what the next step is and just writing down what's the next step, the next smallest step. I like that one. Okay. Um, what I was thinking about though was I was mentioning writing books. When you write books for other people, there's kind of a requirement. I'm sure there's a standard page, you know, number of pages in order for the spine of your book to look legit. It's probably like an inch and a half, 2 inches, and you can do. We used to do this when I worked in publishing, like kind of we used to call fluffing the book, so it looked bigger. But what I want to offer to you is one of the reasons why my book would pretty much be a pamphlet, which is fine, is because it always comes back to the same principles. And I will always bring it back to the same solid principles because it's about chunking it down and chunking it down into a piece that feels easy for you to do. That is the right size piece of steak for me to eat. Anything bigger, I'm going to choke. Anything littler, and I can't get it on my fork. That is the right size for me. So when you look at the next step, other people may batch other things together, but they're still one step at a time. And that's how we do everything. So chunking it down and then taking those steps. And if the steps seem too big, you may be afraid, I don't know if I can make it. Like today, they were doing construction and I had to kind of extend my leg a little bit over where they're making a bump out or something. And I was like, okay, I better watch it. I don't want to trip. Now I'm not going to, that's okay. I got to prepare for that big step. But it's so much easier when you're walking in LA, walking in LA. Nobody walks in LA. Everybody walks in Phoenixville. I'm telling you. So just think about that. Chunking it down, the next step in any process. Like for me tonight, my next step will be, I already brushed my teeth, did my face. Um, Maybe I'll tidy up a little bit. Maybe I'll say F it and leave it for tomorrow because I feel okay. Um, but writing some of those things down for other projects. Yeah. And you know how I said 15 minutes is a long time? Just because I glanced at my clock there. Um, that was only 6 minutes of talking since I said that. That means a 15-minute project has 9 more minutes to go. So I like some little piddly things. And then you get the dopamine hit. I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this, I did this. Nobody says you can't milk what you're doing for dopamine. Chunk those things down. And I know I have a video on my YouTube page or TikTok page. I should find it. I think it was from Easter of last year. And here, I'm going to write it down for tomorrow because um, I did upload a bunch of the videos from the my TikTok page to the YouTube channel, and this is kind of fun. Literally by the end of this week, there will be 700 videos on my on my YouTube channel. It's just kind of neat to hit a big number and an even number. But I'm going to be like, okay, what was it? Hershey's Kisses. Pardon me as I write down video. There's nothing wrong with, getting credit for all the steps you're taking. It's almost like I did this step, I got a Hershey's Kiss. I did the next step, I got a Hershey's Kiss. Next step, got a Hershey's Kiss. Nothing wrong with a bunch of Hershey's Kisses, you know? So, just something to think about. Something to think about. Maybe going to bed, chunking it down, waking up in the morning, saying, how can I chunk down what I'm doing today and get more dopamine from it? How can I make those little steps? Write them down. Now, an abstract list, I will share this with you. A list is a great thing because you can pull from the list. When you pull it from your list, ideally what you'll do is you'll then schedule it. You'll schedule it for a day of the week and a time of the day that feels easy to do. Now, sometimes you can schedule things for whenever. I love that. Even in my daily thing, I noticed that there are certain things that are hardwired into my date, and that's usually um, things that I've scheduled with other people. But when it comes to me scheduling stuff for myself, I love to give myself flexibility. I love to give myself the time to do it when I feel like doing it. Especially now if it's a time sensitive thing, that's a little bit different. But I love allowing myself some structure and flexibility. So, are you being too rigid on yourself? Are you being mad at yourself because you didn't do anything? What's the word I'm thinking of? You didn't do anything. You didn't do something by some arbitrary deadline that you created. Did it have any negative effect except maybe disappointment? No, disappointment does suck. So just think about that. Are you are you setting yourself up for success by chunking it down? Or are you expecting too much of yourself given the time and energy you have in any given day? That's why I always say when people say I don't have the time, I'm not immediately like, no, you don't, or yes, you do, and you just don't, because I don't know what is going on in your world, but you do. And you know the days that you're slammed, you know the days that you're tired. And that's why I say having some structure is great, and being flexible with yourself really makes everything so much easier. It really does. So, here we are. It's Wednesday, May 14th, and it's 8:45 in the evening. You know what's kind of cool? Now I shut my blinds here because it will get dark, and actually I will check right now. This was something really fun. Was I noticed when I went to shut the blinds that the sunlight was getting more every day. I'm also noticing that yeah, there's going to be a 70% chance. Oh, that's weird. Says that it's gonna rain tomorrow, so I don't mean to get distracted by my phone, but boy, is it easy. What I was trying to just look for was to see when the sun set today. Yesterday must have been the full moon. The sun is getting up earlier and the sun is going to bed later. We have more daylight. We have more daylight. I love that. I really do. So isn't that fun? Yeah. Now, Judy Dukes says, I've never been a list person. I've been told I've always been a list person. Since listening to you, I've tried to make more lists, but rarely use it, and that's frustrating. I love hearing this, Judy Dukes. I do. I love hearing that you're trying something that is new and different. So, yay for you for experimenting with it. What I would get curious about, and this would almost be me like following you around because you invited me in as a consultant to your life. And what I would get curious about here was curious my word? No, maybe it was. I'll take a sip anyway. What I would get curious about is why you rarely use it. Now, here's one thing I have heard from other clients who try to put into place some of these tools I use is because they are not in the habit of using a list, they don't put it somewhere where it's easy to find. So I would get curious why you rarely use your list. Do you know where your list is? That's why when I coach, I literally say, get yourself a big 8.5 by 11 spiral bound notebook. Make it be a bright color if you want. Make it something substantial so it doesn't get lost in the clutter. Okay? Keep it in a place where you spend time because then you'll be able to see it and interact with it. Now, if it's your master list of things to do, that may be overwhelming. I get that. So don't do that. But what I would say is you can have a big list and you can make a smaller list of stuff I want to get done this week and figure out some places in your house that you hang out that you would be more likely to see the list if it was here. Now, I love it. Cheryl Siegel says, my book for my lists lives on my kitchen counter. I love that. Mine tends to be at my desk because I spend a lot of time at my desk. Um, so, where's a place you spend some time at your house that you could practice making the list, checking it twice? Always got to add that. Making the list and checking it twice, checking it once, even going to your list because a list comes from you. This is the cool thing. A list comes from you. A list comes from your head and your heart that says, hey, you, here are some things that if you do them, we think, us here inside you, we think it will be good. So, yeah, there we go. My book for my lists lives on my kitchen counter. Judy Dukes' kitchen counter might be a good to try. Yeah, so experiment. And experimentation does not mean getting it right away. It means, oh, that didn't work. Let me try this. And then doing something enough to see if it's sticking or not and getting in the habit. Don't give up on something just because it didn't work the first time. Kind of like having sex for kids. Don't give up if it didn't work the first time. But experiment, play. Is this a good place? Practice. Setting a reminder on your phone to say, remember to look at my list. And Cheryl Siegel says it helps. I see it many times a day. And a visual reminder of something to do is one of the tools in your toolkit. That's why oftentimes a lot of people will put something, oh, that's going to remind me to do that thing. Putting your toothbrush out on the table to remind you to brush your teeth or something. Using a visual clue, a visual prompt, a visual trigger, a visual reminder to say, oh, that's right. If I open up this book, it's going to have a list of things that I can pick from. Think of your list as a Chinese food menu. It's late. That you get to pick and choose what you want to do. You're the one who made the list. You can do anything you want. Nobody says you have to do it in any order. You can pick what you feel like eating off of that menu. You can pick what you feel like doing. Nobody else put those things on those lists and on that list except for you. And make sure that the you who made the list is your co-pilot and not your backseat driver. Your backseat driver list, how would that be? A backseat driver list would probably be too much. It would be expecting you to do too many things, too much for too long, then it's going to hurt and it gets you overwhelmed. So, once again, this is why my book is a pamphlet, chunking it down. Chunking it down. Anything you've written down that's too big, you can chunk down. You can break the spell. You can write it down. You can touch your hand to that thing and say, okay, if this is too big, boop, what are some chunks that I could chunk down? Like my client with the bookcase full of Mary Engelbreit stuff. Well, there's books and there's curios and there's a doll and there's a tchotchke. There's here's a book, one book, you know? Yeah, make the list from your co-pilot. And your co-pilot, even if, and I'll share this with you, because make sure the co-pilot's love is making the list, even if they don't make the list, they can edit the list. Here, let me see what you did here. Oh, I see. Well, you're a little kid. You're a scared little kid in the back seat. Nice try. You got some good stuff here. Do not get me wrong. But here's what we're going to do. Because here in the front seat, you know what we love to do? Chunk it down. So even if your backseat drivers made the list, you can revise it. You can chunk it down with your co-pilot. You can sit there with your co-pilot. Your backseat driver's like, we got to get to California right now. Start driving route. Do not stop until we get there. No sleep till Brooklyn. No sleep till Brooklyn. I hope Heather MC is getting home safely to Brooklyn on the, I was going to say on the MTA, on the subway. No, you got to drive and you can't stop and you can't got to keep going. That's your backseat driver. Who the hell wants to go on a road trip with them? Front seat, your co-pilot is the best co-pilot ever on a road trip. Okay? Your backseat, your co-pilot's going to be, whoa, 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 whoa. Slow down there, buddy. Whoa, slow down, calm down. We will get to California. But you know what we got to do? We got to chunk down this list. We got to chunk down this map because a list is a map. A map is a list. Okay? We have to go through this town and then this town and then this town and then this town. We're not going to drive all the way across the state. That's too much. Let's see how many towns we can get through until we get to Harrisburg and see how we feel then. Yeah. So notice in the front seat, you can use some of the things you wrote down, but you can make it and you can chunk it down so it feels easier. Yeah. and also putting a time on the list to do one thing to start. Now, here is a really fun thing. I'm sure you've seen it, and I wish I could remember her name, but the how long does it take to really do something gal on TikTok? Be your own. What the hell was my job title? I can't even remember. I used to literally need to sit next to people with a stopwatch as they performed a task and break down the tasks and see how long each thing took. You may not know how long some of these things take. So you can talk about a time, a unit of measure of this takes too long. Okay? So notice that you may not have any idea how long it takes you to put in a load of laundry. This is where you experiment. You are a scientist, you are a consultant, you are curious. A process engineer, that was it. Oh my God. An art history major to a process engineer. I mean, I did a damn good job, but come on, corporate America. Um, Next time you do a task, just look at your set the time. What is it? The lap thingy on your thing, the stopwatch. Hit start on the stopwatch when you start to do a task. Do not rush yourself. Do not try to play beat the clock. No, what you're trying to notice is your pace, your steps, how long things take. And you're not judging yourself, you're just gathering information. You are a scientist with curiosity. And you're noticing how long things take so that the next time you do that task, you know it takes you between 4 and 7 minutes to do the dishes. And that can chunk it down. So, the other thing about time, though, time, clock of the heart, anybody? Culture Club? Time heals the wounds. I think that was Todd Rundgren. There's a wicked lot of songs about time. But time can also be the time on the clock. Like holy Moses, I seriously just looked at the clock and it's 8:57. Now notice sometimes time flies when you're having fun. But what I will offer to you is sometimes picking the right time of day to do something will also make it feel easier. Okay? Perfumes and aromas. Aromas says I always start cleaning my bedroom, but when I finish the kitchen and in a week my bedroom is messy again and I have to start all over exhausted. Okay, you know what? This is gonna sound you gotta chunk it down. You gotta show up and do a little bit more every day. Like not more. Do a little bit every day. Notice what you're doing. Cleaning your bedroom and then not cleaning your bedroom and then stuff piles up. Every day, do a little bit. Instead of taking an hour at the beginning of the week and an hour at the end of the week, how about 10 minutes every day? How about 5 minutes every day? Notice what the mess in your bedroom is comprised of. Is it clothes on the floor? Is it clothes um, on your bureau? Is it jewelry you took off? Is it tissues on the floor? Is it books that you've read? Notice the categories. Pick a category a day and take care of that. Do not exhaust yourself. Chunk it down. Now, I love it. Leslie M is saying sorted pocketbooks while we are live and working on sweaters now. Category, category, chunking, category. You're helping me get clothes closet in order, where you know what you have and you know where it is. So when you want to go wear that sweater or carry that pocketbook, as they say in Mass, you know where it is, you know where to get it, and you know where to put it away after you've done. So, yay, Leslie. I love this. This is great because I'm going to be signing off soon. But Leslie says, my husband heard me listening to you this morning. And tonight he said, it's Beth time again? Yes, it's Beth time. It is. But you know what? Beth time is winding to a close. It is. It is. But I like doing these one off evening TikTok, YouTube lives because I know that it's fun to mix things up. I tend to be an early bird, but today I am also a night owl. Now, I will say this to you. I don't have another night one scheduled now, but that doesn't mean, There we go. Done for today. Rest is coming. List made for tomorrow. Thank you all. Lady Bandit is planting the flowers, right? Because you've got a few more hours of the day than me. Judy Dukes, there we go. Heather MC says my husband loves Beth time. He says I'm always nicer after I listen to Beth. Ooh, I love that. I love that. But notice that a good voice in your head and a good voice in your heart makes you have like a nice afterglow. I speak like this to you to teach you to speak like this to you. And when you speak like this to you, you can speak to other people like that too. And man, oh Manischewitz, what a wonderful world it would be if we all just treated each other with kindness, with fun, with love, with patience, with understanding, with compassion. What a wonderful world. Okay. So let's make it a wonderful world. We're starting right now. Okay. There we go. I love it. Melody is almost done with packing the stuff in the top of my closet. Got the puzzles left. Great job. All right. You guys. So tomorrow is Thursday already. I have to update the TV guide. Tomorrow morning, there's a double shot. It's Thursday. It's two for Thursday. 9 a.m. TikTok Live, 10 a.m. YouTube Live, all in Eastern Time. Would love to see you there. If you can't make it, no worries. That is one thing I will do before I go to bed is I will update the TV guide. And I hope you have a wonderful evening. I will see you, some of you in the morning. Get a good night's sleep. And if you have to get up in the middle of the night to pee, that's okay. Go back to sleep afterwards. All right. Bye.